It's as difficult to reopen a business as it is to open it. We underestimated that a little bit.
And probably the biggest reason the O. Henry and Proximity hotels, along with their respective restaurants, and the Lucky 32 restaurant in Greensboro have been so difficult to reopen, there just haven't been enough people to serve the customers. You see, of the more than 600 employees Quaintance Weaver Hotels and Restaurants furloughed at the start of the pandemic, only about half came back. The company has 110 job openings right now. It's why CEO Dennis Quaintance hasn't had a haircut in more than a year.
When we furloughed all of us people back in March of 2020, I said, you know, I'm not going to cut my hair until most of them are back. And they're still not back.
Why aren't people coming back? Why is it so hard for you to find people?
I am not a social scientist, and I don't sort of buy the idea that they're not coming back just because the unemployment benefit, the federal subsidy, even though that is part of it, it may be 10% of the problem, it could be 60% of the problem. I don't know. I think it's a lot of things. I think that if we just went out and sort of randomly picked 100 people that are potential, that have the potential of wanting to work here, I think we may have 60 different stories. Our biggest need are skilled culinarians, people in the kitchens. When I say skilled, I mean people with the aptitude, because we can teach. But people in the kitchens, people that have culinary chops and enjoy the vibrancy and excitement of the kitchen and physical challenges.
To compensate for the lack of staff, closed sections like this one are common, and some of the tables, offerings, and serving hours in at least one restaurant have been scaled back. The company also hasn't ramped up its meetings, big events business yet.
How safe is it to eat in a restaurant right now?
I think it's very safe. I think that if I were dining in a restaurant, I would prefer that the staff have masks because they're just around so many other people for a while, particularly if I were dining with young people that are not yet vaccinated or someone that isn't vaccinated.
And all Quaintance Weaver employees are wearing masks. Masks are also available for customers even before they walk in the door, but mask wearing is not enforced. And some of the things the company's craft guild designed, made, and installed, namely the plexiglass separators at the bars and between tables that blend in with the ambiance of each restaurant and keep virus particles from spreading, may stick around.
We're not sure. It may just stay up because it's aesthetically not disturbing. Right. It doesn't interrupt the guest. It helps a little bit with acoustics.
How safe is it to stay in a hotel?
Hotels are safe or safer than they were in 2019.
What has been your biggest surprise coming out of this?
The biggest surprise is I thought we'd be in a situation where when we started bringing people back, we'd be saying, sorry, we can't bring you back for a few weeks. But I misguessed when we would be reopening by a long time and by when we'd need most people. So many of the people that left got other jobs. So the biggest surprise is just the challenge in finding more wonderful people to come in and play restaurant and hotel with us.
Do you see business and staffing ever coming back to the way it was before the pandemic? You're an eternal optimist, I know.
I think that travel will recover. I think that business travel will recover as well. I think it'll come later. I think that dining out, I think that will probably be more popular than it has been, because I think when you lose something, it becomes even more dear.
So Quaintance and his team will continue walking through their restaurants and hotels with that vision in mind, working to keep the customers safe and satisfied, and working to find more people to help them accomplish that.
So our sense of purpose, our sort of compass heading, hasn't changed in 32 years.